Welcome back to Pittsburgh Sports with Scooter. Scooter here. Hey, in this video, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates' big win last night. I want to talk about how I felt the trade deadline went. And then in the last segment, I want to talk about what I think needs to happen, what I'd like to see happen, and what needs to happen for the Pittsburgh Pirates to get back in this wild card um, and finish this season off strong. So, first off, last night, great victory for the Pirates. Uh, Bubba Chandler pitched pretty well. I just feel like he's getting better and better. And if Bubba Chandler can be in the strike zone, Bubba Chandler can be a beast. Um, and so from where he was a couple months ago to where he's at now, kudos to him and kudos to the Pittsburgh Pirates because there were a lot of us, including myself, when Jared Jones came back, that were ready to put Bubba Chandler either in the pen or send him back to the minors because didn't feel that he was ready yet. He's stopped that talk. He's started to prove us wrong. And good job, Bubba Chandler, man. Keep pitching, keep getting better. He's gonna be elite at some point, I think, in his career. But he did a great job last night. Welcome back to Pittsburgh and back in the lineup, Spencer Horowitz. Uh, Big 3-run RBI double last night. Without it, the Pirates don't win this game. It's Merlin Valdez. He hasn't hit homers lately, but man, for a 22-year-old, he sure gets on base a lot, and I'll take it. That power's there. It hasn't gone anywhere. The league's fighting back against him. They're pitching him different. He's going to figure it out, and when he does, he'll be back to smashing the ball over the fence. I believe that. Um, I believe Emerson Valdez is just fine. The magician's still there. Uh, the league always fights back, and they always figure out a way to slow you down. Now, for this kid, he just needs to figure out how to answer that. And he's been doing that so far by taking an awful lot of walks. And I'll take it, man. With this lineup, just get on base. Just pass the baton, just get on base and create havoc. Um, Nick Gonzalez's bat seems to have slowed down a little bit, but it'll come back. In the bullpen last night, man, I think it was 3.1 scoreless innings. This is before the guys that they got even get back, except for the Doval. And how good did he look last night in the eighth inning? Um, I told you guys in a prior video, and other people have said it too. I can't take credit for it, but if you looked at his numbers, he just looked like the prime candidate for a change. He was almost, I would say, an elite pitcher outside of Yankee Stadium. First appearance was in mop-up duty. He gave up a home run. Who cares, you know? But when it meant something last night, when the game was on the line, when they needed him, he looked filthy, man. So kudos to him. Um, Yeah, good big victory last night. And Mason Montgomery, holy cow, the last month he's been elite. I really think Montgomery should stay in the closer's role. I know Luke Weaver is a back end guy that can close games, but Mason is on fire and he's as confident as I've ever seen him. And I don't think you want to mess with that. When he goes out there and he throws that fastball for strikes, man, it's hard to hit. So good game last night, big victory. So let's talk a little bit about the trade deadline. The Pirates, to me, did exactly what the Pirates absolutely had to do. Do I wish there was more? Sure. We're all going to wish there was more. But I'm almost 50 years old, and I don't ever remember a draft where the Pirates did what they did yesterday. They brought in, by everybody's standards, the best reliever that was available. Mason Miller was never available. That was all talk unless you were willing to give up half the prospects in your system. The Pirates can't do that. There are teams that could get away with that, but Pittsburgh just cannot do that. Um, in the trade, Sammy, who's not even a top 100 rated prospect, and they got like $8 million back. kudos to you, Ben Sherrington. Um, Kirby Yates is another guy that I was opining for. 39 years old, but he's a rental piece. Still pitching well, still got a high strikeout rate. You can use him at the back end of the bullpen. He's been through all the battles, just like Luke Weaver. They've both pitched in big games. And he's that veteran presence, man. He's that guy that's been around that can take some of these young guys under his wing this last couple months of the season and help them. I really truly believe Kirby Yates is a bigger deal than a lot of people think. Um, I'm gonna be honest, Luke Barker, I don't know a ton about. I know he's 31. He was a late bloomer. He didn't really break in until he was 29 years old, but he's pitched well for the Marlins. Almost every time he goes out on the mound, he gives you more than an inning. Reliable guy, decent ERA, got a wicked slider from what I hear. I think that's another big pickup for the Pirates. And here's the guy who I think, and I already mentioned his name, but I'm going to say him again, Doval, that they got from the Yankees. I think this guy might be the underrated dark horse here. Um, he's proven over the past few years that he's good and he can close games, and he has pretty good stuff. And whether they use him in eighth inning roles or seventh inning roles, I just think this is another dominant arm out of the bullpen that can get you through that sixth inning if you're in trouble, the seventh inning if you're in trouble, the fifth inning if you need them. Um, I think the Pirates, bullpen wise, did exactly what they needed to do. If you sit down and you look at this bullpen now, um, this bullpen went from terrible to could be really, really good. And with 48 games remaining in the season, there's plenty of time to make up 3.5 games. I truly believe that. Now, last part of the video. What do I think the Pirates need to do? What must happen for this to happen? There's two big things. Well, really, there's three. But the two big things I see are, I don't know about you guys, but I am done watching Nick Gonzalez play third base. He's been there the entire season. He looks as bad now as he ever did. I don't think he's going to get better. I heard a lot of people say, like Kevin Young and them, that, he's never really played there. Give him time. The more he plays there, the better he'll get. Uh, sorry, Kevin Young, but I have to disagree. Um, and it's not even just the physical tools, it's the mental part of third base. His clock, his footwork. Um, I always thought it was going to be his arm. His arm really isn't the problem. But the Pirates cannot afford to keep putting Nick Gonzalez at third base. He's already cost them a couple games this year. They can't afford to have him costing them any more games down the stretch. So I know y'all are not going to like to hear this, but I'm putting Jared Triolo at third base most nights. He's known as a second half guy with the bat. We know he can play gold glove defense at third base. So I think if you're Donnie Kelly, you go and you tell Jared Triolo, look, you're going to be our everyday third baseman. This is your shot, kid. This is your chance to show baseball that your bat can and will play in Major League Baseball. So you're the guy. The other Gonzalez needs to be at shortstop most nights. What do you do with Nick Gonzalez? You can't just take his bat out of the lineup. So, in my mind, you either put Nick Gonzalez at second base where he's better defensively. He's not great there, but neither is Lau. So you either put Nick Gonzalez at second base most nights and Brandon Lau becomes your DH, or you make Nick Gonzalez your DH most nights. And then of course you can use Nick Gonzalez if you have to give Brandon Lau a breath for a night. Or you can put him at third if you have to give Jared Triolo a break. But Nick Gonzalez should never be an everyday third baseman. That's one. Number two, will the real Paul Skeens please stand up? All these moves don't matter to me. if Paul Skeens doesn't get back to being Paul Skeens. And I don't know what's wrong with him. I've heard injuries, fatigue, uh, conspiracy theories that he doesn't want to get hurt because he wants to go make the big money. I don't believe that one necessarily. People around that have been around baseball for a long time, a reporter in Pittsburgh, and I can't think of his name. He says he's going through the World Baseball Classic hangover, which I tend to think is probably the case. Such a high workload early in the season doing the World Baseball Classic. Um, I think he's fatigued. I think his arm's fatigued. Um, Hopefully, he'll get that second wind and be back to Paul Skeens. Because without him being the ace, without him being the Paul Skeens we know he can be, I don't know that we can make it to the playoffs. And not only that, but you get in the playoffs, you've got to have Paul Skeens at his best. He's got to be the ace and got to be the man. And the third thing, this offense has to get back to scoring runs. Thankfully, with the bullpen we've got, and hopefully the starting pitching can sustain itself, you don't need to score 7 or 8 or 9 runs to win. But this offense needs to kind of get back to what it was doing before. Because second half Pirates has definitely not offensively been first half Pirates. But I think the offense is okay. Even with O'Hearn out, I I think they can sustain themselves. Horowitz is back, had that big hit last night. Hopefully, he'll be back to where he was. Um, the other big thing for me is O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz is supposed to be back next week, supposedly the 7th or the 8th. We absolutely, positively, 100% have to get the O'Neal Cruz back pre injury. We can't wait for him for a month to figure it out and get his timing back. He has to come back ready to play baseball and ready to hit baseballs. Um, the only other thing I'll say about the draft before that I should have said before is, yes, it would have been nice to get a right-handed bat with thump. Yes, it would have been nice to get another starter. That didn't happen. Would have been nice. Would have helped. Definitely another starting pitcher, even more than a right-handed bat. But it didn't happen. So that just means the guys we have need to stand up here. Jared Jones needs to continue to do what he's been doing his last handful of starts. Um, I will never want anybody to get injured, so don't take this the wrong way. But it could be a blessing in disguise that Keller is out for the season. He hasn't pitched well all year. I believe that'll put Carmen Mlodzinski back in the starting rotation, who is pitching well. And I think right now I trust Carmen Mlodzinski to win ball games way more than I do Mitch Keller. So I'm sorry you're hurt, Mitch Keller. I'm sorry you're out for the year. That sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. I wish you well. I wish you a speedy recovery. I hope when you return, you're back to being the better Mitch Keller. Uh, but let's go, Carmen Mlodzinski. You got what you wanted. Now you need to go out there and pitch. So we talked about the Pirates game. We talked about the draft. Uh, we talked about what I think needs to happen and what I would like to see. I'm curious what you all think, but I'm excited, guys. I feel like the Pirates now not being handicapped by this terrible bullpen. They have a shot here. Will it be easy? No. Am I saying they're going to do it? No. But I feel a lot better about it today than I did yesterday. So that's the video. I hope you like it. If you do, hit like and subscribe. It helps me out. And as always, and until next time, let's go Bucks.